Hi, everyone. Today we're making an elk pasta bolognese. We're already off to a pretty rough start. That's the elk right there. And it is completely frozen. I forgot to defrost it.
Well, we're off to a great start here.
Yeah.
This is my assistant, my little assistant, my sous chef.
That's Lefty.
This is my sous
He's
chef
cooking with
today,
us
right?
today.
You're my sous chef?
Aww.
My sous chef?
As always, we're going to pour one out for the food gods. I really just don't want anyone to ask me how I got this elk. I just don't want anyone at all talking about elk.
God.
Please don't ask me. Just please
like
don't ask me, okay? I don't know how I got it. I don't know how I got it. I don't know where. We're actually going to throw this in the microwave to defrost it because I forgot to leave it out. But it's very important you cover with plastic, okay? Cover your meat with plastic, guys. Here I am trying to peel some garlic. That's one of the ingredients we're going to be using. I don't know why it was so difficult for me to peel this. I'm really struggling here. I would have to say, out of all the garlic I've peeled, this is probably some of the most difficult.
Oh, is it just big?
It turns out it was
Is this just
really big. I've never seen a clove that big.
What the fuck?
Anyways, we're gonna dice our garlic up because we're gonna throw it on the pan later. Okay, so we've just taken our elk out of the microwave. It's looking a little strange, but it is going to be okay.
That better not be moose.
I mean, it's not moose, it's elk.
Those are closely related, but maybe not as close as you think. You're a hypocrite. That's what you are. You wouldn't shoot and kill it yourself. You know why?
Why?
'Cause you're a hypocrite. You're a dirty hypocrite.
You know, we're gonna turn our heat on,
You actually
and that's
don't
because we're
want it
gonna
to be
put the garlic.
too warm.
We're gonna put the garlic on the
Burn
pan.
everything.
Now, some people will tell you, use butter, but the thing is, if you start off with butter, it'll burn, which is why we're using olive oil.
Yeah, I used to be one of those.
All right, good one. Once, when I was a kid, I actually leaned on a stovetop and I burned the stove elements into my skin. Some people at school said, "Did you get a tattoo?" And I said, "No, I burned my skin on the stove elements." As we cook the elk, we're going to be boiling some water. Now, some people let me know I need to be salting the water beforehand, and I saw that, so thank you. All right, we're gonna put our garlic on the pan here, and we're just gonna saute that garlic until it browns. I heard this one story about this guy who was driving down the highway, and he crashed into an elk. And he got out of the car and he said, "Oh my God." And the elk goes, "I know." I heard this other story one time about an elk who walks into a bar. And you know how sometimes bars will have moose heads or deer heads. And so this elk sees an elk head hanging on the wall above the bartender. And he says, "What the fuck?"
You're a hypocrite. You damn hypocrite.
These are looking pretty golden brown. Some of the pieces are a little, still a little raw through no fault of my own, but I think it's time to add the meat. Add the meat in. We're frying that meat up, and we're trying to break it into small chunks because we don't want to cook it as a block. At this point, we can add our butter. Get some of that rich flavor going, add some salt, some chili pepper. I added the rest of the black pepper I had as well.
You're a monster and a hypocrite and an animal.
And you're just gonna saute it. I know that elk is not the easiest ingredient to procure, and you can substitute this elk for any meat or tofu. or vegetarian option. And I also want to quickly ask the audience, please not to look into elk car collision police reports for the foreseeable future. Thank you. So now that the water is boiling, you're gonna throw your pasta in there. I am not a believer in breaking the pasta. If you break the pasta, you know, I want you to stay away from me. I want you to stay very far away from me. In fact, I will probably stay away from you. I don't trust anyone that breaks the pasta. There's a lot of multitasking in this recipe, you know.
But you know what they say, if you can't
it can get
take
difficult.
the heat, you gotta get out of the kitchen.
I just want to specify, earlier I said something about not looking into police reports. I just want everyone to know that that was a joke. I tend to have a very dry sense of humor. So don't read too much into that. Don't think about that too much. Please. Okay. Now, I don't know where I heard this, but I heard that adding dark chocolate, this is 70%, actually really brings out the flavor. So anyways, the pasta's ready, so we're just gonna drain it. And at this point, we're ready to put in the sauce. You know, just go ahead and dump that shit in there. Just go ahead and throw it all in there. You're just gonna go ahead and mix that in at this point. You know, make sure that all the meat is covered. That is starting to look delicious. And then once you've done that, you go ahead and throw in your pasta and you start stirring it up. You know, mix it up a little bit. You know, much in the same way that... Now, I don't know if I messed up. I don't know when you're supposed to put the chocolate in. I just put it in now. You know, you want to stir it around. You don't want any chocolatey bits surprising you.
Oh my. Well, I have to say, that smells rather good. You wouldn't mind if I tried some, would you?
And there we go, guys. That's it, pretty much cooked to completion. I think it looks pretty good.
But I think someone special wants to try first.
Yummy. That actually tastes pretty good. Those are closely related, but maybe not as close as you think.
Alright, now I think it's hard
Alright.
to try. That was pretty good.
So everybody, thank you so much for watching. That was the elk pasta. Have a good one.